Hello, my name is Carol, and I was sexually abused by a Catholic priest between the ages of 3 and 6. I was abused by Father Marr, then the pastor of Christ the King Church in Athens, Ohio. I remembered the abuse when I was 30, and I have many vivid memories of the abuse. They include being forced to perform oral sex on him, having him take my clothes off, having him hold me in his lap and rub my vagina over his penis. I remember hearing him moaning, and to this day that sort of sound really re-stimulates these old memories. I remember him holding me up way off the ground by my neck and trying to strangle me because I was fighting him. I remember being locked in a room with him and not being able to get out when I tried to run away, and him cursing me and dragging me back. I remember him touching me between my legs, touching my vagina and clitoris, and I just have a lot of very concrete and vivid and sexual memories, and there's no way anyone can say this wasn't sexual abuse. We lived right next to Christ the King Church, and Father Marr befriended my family, gave my father an office in the church where he could type his dissertation, and my parents decided that Father Marr would be a good caregiver for me, so they sent me off to play with him at least weekly, I think. It was very, very often, and they had no idea any of this was happening. At the time, I thought they must know this is what was happening. And I'm sure that Father Marr in some way threatened me or instructed me not to talk about it, but I just thought my parents knew what was happening, and so it just never came up in conversation. And I was only 3. And I think 3-year-olds just assume that whatever adults are doing is what adults do, and they all know about it. When I was 30 and I remembered the abuse, I contacted the Steubenville Diocese office, and I spoke with one of the staff members there whose job it was to field calls like this. And he was very compassionate and very understanding. And he informed me that Father Marr had been abusive to so many different children that they had removed him from his post at Christ the King Church in the early 70s, maybe around 73 or so, and sent him to a sort of treatment center within the Catholic Church, which was where they sent priests who were not socially safe. They had to keep them away from the public. And they told me that he stayed there for a number of years and then chose to leave the priesthood in order to be able to leave that treatment facility, and since is deceased. I think he died in the late 90s or early part of this century. So I'm not concerned that he's abusing any more children. The other part of the story is that for the larger part of rest of my life, I was dealing with this abuse either knowingly or unknowingly, and have spent many, many years working actively to heal from the effects of the abuse. And finally I've come to a place where I feel that I have a very happy life and great family, and I can have whatever I want to have in life. But for many survivors, this is not the case. And many survivors are very fearful about coming forward with their story. So I've begun to work with the SNAP organization as the SNAP leader of the support group in Columbus, Ohio. If anything like this is happening to you or has happened to you, I think it's a wonderful thing to report it, not to the diocese necessarily, because it seems that often they don't do much to redress this particular sort of terrible crime. But you can go to the police, you can go through the courts, you can talk to your friends about it, you can talk to your family about it. And if you're a child and this is happening to you, it's really important for you to know that this is not okay. It's not okay for any adult, or priest, or clergy member, or teacher, or anyone in your life to touch you in a sexual way. It's important for you to tell people about it, and they can help make it stop. Sometimes you have to tell as many as 10 or 15 people before you find someone who will believe you, or someone who will believe you and help you make it stop. But it's your right to be safe from this kind of abuse. It's not okay for this to be happening to you. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope that if you know anyone who's been sexually abused by a clergy member or priest, that you'll recommend that they watch this video, and that if you know of anyone who also was sexually abused by Father Mar, I hope that you'll invite them to watch this video and invite them to think about coming forward, because the more reports we have of abuse by anyone, especially by Catholic clergy or clergy of other denominations, the stronger the movement will be to stop these things from happening. And it's really important for us to make sure that this doesn't happen to any more children anywhere. Thank you for listening.